Welcome back, guys, to another SBT playoff match in the Round 1, Season 4. And this is in the B League, where we have Stumbles and his Cleveland Cresselias versus Blitz and his Toronto Tyranitars. So, very exciting match. Blitz was a new addition to the B League midway through, and he has proved himself to be a very admirable coach, um, going pretty much undefeated after he joined, especially um, with the changes he made to the team. Um, and yeah, so they're facing off. I'm pretty sure Stumbles was the third seed in his division, and Blitz ended up being the sixth seed. So these two got paired up. Blitz, I believe, went 6-5, and Stumbles, I think, went 8-3. So Stumbles looks like he has a decent matchup here. Of course, Blitz, a very strong coach and a pretty powerful team, as you can see from just the first four Pokemon. He has the Mega Lopunny, the Mew, the Shaman, the Zeraora, the Seismitoad, and the Hydreigon. And then Stumbles brought his Mega Charizard X, his Nihilego, his Tapu Koko, Porygon 2, the Mandibuzz, and the Hitmontop. So very good teams on both sides. It seems that the Tapu Koko could have a bit of could have some tough issues trying to break the Mew if it's more of a bulky set, but it otherwise does a lot of work if he has something like Brave Bird, perhaps for Shaman. The Lopunny doesn't really have a switch in like normally, but Mandibuzz can be very bulky. Hitmontop can be max defense, all that stuff. Something I believe has to kind of be scarfed, if not the Nihilego on Stumble's end, just to kind of take on that Lopunny and maybe check it. But it looks like a tough match for both coaches. Let's just get right into it and see what they opt to lead off with. So it looks like Blitz leads off with the Seismitoad, as Stumbles leads with his Mandibuzz there. So maybe Blitz trying to get up his rocks, and Mandibuzz maybe trying to taunt or lead off with a nice defensive counter to him. Something like the Lopunny could be the play. Maybe he's Rocky Helmet to kind of counteract the fake out pressure. But Zeraora could have also led off with, so it's a very tough call there for Stumble, since he didn't bring his ground type. So he has to really keep in mind the Zeraora, whenever it comes in, can deal a chunk of damage to something. So let's see what they opt to do here. Mandibuzz does go for the taunt, so it looks like he was trying to just make sure that rocks didn't go up on his side. And obviously Blitz doesn't know about the taunt, if he has it or not, so he loses nothing just going for the rocks there. Obviously he could have tried to predict that, but if Mandibuzz just went for a Toxic there and Seismitoad went for an attack, then really it would have lost him some momentum anyways. So we do see the foul play, of course, coming off the Mandibuzz. It does a respectable amount of damage. We do see the Rocky Helmet, so it was more for that fake out pressure. But getting any kind of prior damage on the Seismitoad was very much appreciated for Stumbles, because Seismitoad doesn't really have any reliable recovery besides something like Rest or Leftovers. So and he's taunted down, so really he can't do too much in here. But he did knock off a potential item off of Mandibuzz that will help him quite a bit. So in comes the Hydra, maybe to take another foul play. Still does a decent amount, obviously. We use the Leftovers on Hydra. Now Blitz has brought this bulky Hydra set a lot throughout the season. Obviously it's very good getting roosts and being very bulky on either side, but not too many things on Stumbles and gets fairy coverage besides the Koko and then the Nihilego. So being a bulky Hydra might work to his favor in this case, and he could have something like Taunt and Toxic as well. So anyways, let's see what Stumbles opts to do. He does switch into the Nihilego to take a potential special type move. You do see the Draco. It does a decent amount of damage, of course, but Nihilego is very specially defensive and able to take that hit for pretty much about 40%. Now this could be Scarf, of course. It doesn't have to be, but we could see a Dazzling Gleam coming off of this. And Blitz doesn't really have a resist to a Fairy type move, so he could just be going for that. We do see the Dazzling Gleam coming off the Nihilego, and it's actually Life Orb, so Really interesting to see that he's Life Orb, especially when the Lopunny would outspeed him later on in the match. But he could be something like a speed boosting in the Heligo. Um, I believe he's able to be speed boosting. I'm not too positive on that, but now that Mew has come in, it's effectively have to swap out here, and the Mana Buzz kind of is able to come back in. Obviously, Mew can have a lot of coverage and can try to set up here. Looks like it can easily set up on this Nihilego. I'm not too sure how Stumbles plans to counteract this, but we'll see. Maybe the Porygon 2 comes out. P2 does come out here, and we don't see the Trace, so we do see the Toxic, and having Trace, who would have synchronized that right back. But Toxic Mew, very, very good on Blitz's end there, predicting the swap out. Nihilego would have obviously taken, he's immune to that, but Toxic in this Porygon 2 is very nice for Blitz, obviously, in the late game, because P2 can really just be bulky and sit here and recover. Mew not setting up means it might be a bit easier for Stumbles to wall break this later on, but right now it's kind of just sitting in here against his wall, so he has to try to get some kind of offensive pressure going at some point. We do see the Tri-Attack, obviously doing a lot of damage to the Seismitoad, and this will go down, but not before getting up rocks, so maybe Stumbles was okay with that trade. Obviously the Hitmontop can spin away these rocks, but Blitz now has his offensive pressure. He can go into his Lopunny, get a massive hit off, or potentially just try to set up a sub or a power-up punch. But in comes the Hitmontop to intimidate this Lopunny. We do see a Baton Pass there. Very nice on Blitz's end. He's able to bring back in the Mew. And Blitz probably trying to not let this Hitmontop spin on him. Although he is experiencing the -1 attack drop, maybe this Mew is actually more special and is going to go for the for a Z move, or he does have leftovers actually. So if I had to guess, maybe the Zeraora or Shaman, or actually Z move. But Stumbles in, he might want to try and make this trade so that rocks can stay off his side of the field, because obviously Charizard and Mana Buzz are very much hindered by the fact that rocks are up right now. But Stumbles could still just try to bring in the Porygon if he thinks that's it's a better play there. He does get crit, unfortunately, for Stumbles there, but I think Stumbles was willing to make that sacrifice to get these rocks off the field. Luckily, Blitz wasn't trying to set up with this Mew. Otherwise, it would have been a very bad situation to be in. So double Toxicing there. Obviously, Blitz predicting a swap out and getting a Toxic on Mew. Very nice for Stumbles again. He's getting closer to Charizard coming in and potentially setting up, but there's a lot of things on Blitz's end that still outspeed the Charizard, so he has to get in Charizard on the right moment and try to set up. I think he can really only set up on something like the Shaman or potentially this Mew, but he's gonna have to take a Toxic if that's necessary. So Stumbles maybe sacrificing this Hitmontop. He actually doubles into the Porygon. We do see a Heal Bell. Very nice on Blitz's end. He gets rid of that Toxic on the Mew. Maybe he was thinking that with all the walls that Stumbles has, a Heal Bell was a nice bring. So we do see the Psyshock coming off the Mew again, trying to weaken this Porygon. Obviously, Mew can sit in on this Porygon and stall all day. His last move might even be soft-boiled. So I'm not too sure how this Porygon wants to break this Mew, but sitting in here might not be the answer. In comes the Shaman. So we do see the Tri-Attack there. Now, we do see a Para, so very unfortunate for Blitz, but of course, this Shaman does have the natural cure. The Mew has the Heal Bell. It might not even be a problem for Blitz. Stumbles has to make sure that he realizes that Shaman might be the only thing Charizard can set up on, so if that's what Stumbles' priority is, he might want to bring it in here. But he might not want to take anything the Shaman does. It's probably scouting this Shaman is most likely the better option here. So we do see the Zard actually come in right here. And Blitz maybe predicting that opts to double into Mew. But we do see the substitute coming off of the Zard. And Mew trying to go for that Toxic. So very nice play on Stumbles' end, knowing that he can safely set up on the Mew as well with having substitute. Maybe he can try to set up a Swords Dance or or a belly drum, or even a sort of dragon dance might even be more useful here to outspeed the Lopunny and the Zero Aura in the late game. We do see the Shy Shock obviously breaking the sub. Now this probably won't KO the Mew, but getting off gigantic damage, maybe going for another sub here is his play. But we do see the Outrage, and it does actually KO. Now Blitz does not have a safe switch into this at +1 Outrage. He's gonna have to let something take a hit here, and he throws off the GG pretty early on, but Stumbles only gets the 2-turn Outrage. It does KO his Hydra, of course. Now he's only down to the 3 Pokemon. He might be able to bring him back if he's able to get some lucky turns here. Obviously, Stumbles getting confused pretty early on is not really helpful. But in comes the Zero Aura now. Zero Aura might have... actually, Stumbles is able to break through the confusion and outrage Zero Aura to finish him off, and now Blitz is just down to his 2 Pokemon, while Stumbles is up pretty much 6 and has a lot of sacks to things like Lopunny or Shaman. If Stumbles can actually get another turn of Outrage going without getting confused, it might be the game for Blitz. In comes the Lopunny. We do see the Charizard hitting himself, unfortunately, and a high jump kick is able to take out the Zard, so Blitz able to make sure not to get swept by this Charizard. Charizard did a lot of work removing three Pokemon, 3 big threats from Stumbles' end. Now he just has to find a way to finish off Blitz with the remaining Pokemon he has. Tapu Koko is still looking like a threat, but Shaman is going to come back in pretty much full, so he has to try to find a way to break that Shaman down. Nihilego might be the answer. In comes the Mana Buzz. It does get toxic by Lopunny. Very interesting play there. We do see a Brave Bird coming off Mana Buzz. It does a respectable amount of damage, honestly. I don't think he wants to stay in here to take another Brave Bird. Stumbles going off for another Brave Bird. Doesn't do too much, honestly. Shaman is very bulky. And we do see the leftovers there. Now, the Shaman might have the Synthesis to recover off the damage there, and Mana Buzz, might have to go down here, but we could see a taunt from the Mana Buzz. Maybe that could be a thing here. You do see a Synthesis, and maybe Stumbles going for that taunt. He does go for the taunt, so he's able to make sure that Shaman isn't able to continuously just heal up on him. But in comes the Lopunny now, and just to sack it off, of course, Lopunny would have been very nice for the Porygon and stuff, and on the Nihilego, but this Mana Buzz is able to just go down. Shaman being the only Pokemon left, having to face off against 4 of the other Pokemon. It is looking very nice, but of course Nihilego does have a Life Orb and could have a Stab Sludge Wave to hit this Shaman with. I'm not too sure how much damage that's going to do, but it will be a lot of damage to the point where Shaman might not be able to synthesis up here. So in comes the Nihilego on Stumbles' end there. We do see the Sludge Wave. It does a massive amount of damage, and Shaman is able to just finish off the Nihilego. I think this might be game here. I'm not too sure. Tapu Koko might have to come in and try to revenge. If he has the Brave Bird, that would effectively finish the match, but we'll see here. The Dazzling Gleam only doing 19%, and Shaman's able to get off a Synthesis. Very unfortunate for Stumbles there. I don't know if he can stall out this Shaman, but Tapu Koko going for the Calm Mind, so he might be able to boost enough to the point where Shaman is not able to synthesis on him. But we do see a Toxic, so this Shaman very bulky, very passive, but enough so that this Tapu Koko isn't able to just continuously spam on him. He does miss that Sea Flare, unfortunately, for Blitz, but is Tapu Koko able to finish off the Shaman before he continuously recover stalls on him? We do see the Sea Flare dropping Tapu Koko's defense back down, and he is toxic though, so this is gonna be a battle of attrition if Blitz continues to synthesis while Tapu Koko takes a lot of toxic damage. The remaining Pokemon on Stumbles' end are toxic, so this is gonna be a close match for sure. Obviously, Stumbles having some very powerful plays early on in the match, but not enough to the point where this Shaman got broken down. He was able to just synthesis off all that damage that Nihilego had risked himself doing. but I was assuming that Blitz might have thought that it was over after Nihiligo came in. But the fact that Stumbles wasn't able to revenge him after Nihiligo went down, it was too much of a problem for Stumbles, because now he has to uh, face this very bulky Shaman that is going to continuously heal stall and Seed Flare and Toxic everything else, and Stumbles can really only do about 40%. If he's not doing over half, he's not going to be able to stall out this Synthesis. He does only have 2 left, but I don't know if Stumbles has enough turns to stall out the Synthesis, especially when he has the leftovers and his 2 last mons are Toxic. So this might be the end of the match. Unfortunately for Stumbles, Blitz was able to come back in this match after losing pretty much his entire team to that Charizard, and Nihilego was able to do some work as well, but unfortunately it just wasn't enough. And Shaman does have 2 more Synthesis here, and he can continuously just Seed Flare, drop Orion's defense a lot more, and then finish him off with a Toxic. So I think that's going to be the match, guys. It's going to go 1-0 to Blitz. Very nice match. Unfortunately, that Charizard hitting himself in confusion, definitely unfortunate for Stumbles. I think he would have been able to maybe clutch out some kills there. But that's just the game, guys. You risk confusion on outrages, and you have to kind of risk some turns of hitting yourself. But Blitz was able to preserve Shaman in the late game. He thought that it was necessary to have him to beat the rest of Stumbles' team after Charizard went down, after Nihiligo was at half, and he just wasn't able to, and Stumbles wasn't able to break it in the late game. So that's going to be the game, guys. GG to both of these coaches. Blitz actually moves on to the next round, where he has to face a Puckbud in round 2. And he actually does get promoted to A-League, so very congrats to Blitz for getting promoted. And Stumbles, unfortunately, resides back in B-League, where he has to try another season to climb back up to A. But tried very, very hard this season, obviously doing amazingly well, getting 3rd seed. Blitz just proving to be a force to be reckoned with. So GG again to both coaches, and that's going to be it, guys.